Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing great. I'm doing great. Yes, I'm doing well. I know you're busy, okay, getting ready for the holiday, but I did want to give you something to think about, something else to consider as far as your goals, the things that you have in place, I hope, for the new year, okay? All right. It's dealing with your strengths and your weaknesses. But let me remind you before I get into that I still have some slots available on my calendar. The ones for December are already gone, but I do have some available for January. Okay, so if you want to go to my link and just go to schedule a session, then you want to click on the one that says a life changing clarity session. Okay, and that's my gift to you. I am a life coach, and I know sometimes we have trauma from the past. I had plenty of trauma from the past that I overcame, and I want to help you do the same. I want to help you heal from whatever is in your past and let it go so that you can have your best life. Okay? So if you have any issue, because we know when something happens in the past and we don't let it go, it affects everything in our life, right? From our personal relationships to our families, to our children, to our workplace. So if you have any issues and it's stemming from past trauma, then please let me know and let me help you. Okay? All right. Now, getting into this content about, do you know your strengths? Do you know your weaknesses? Because it says we're not equally good and bad at everything. No, we're not, right? There's some things we're really good at, but there's some things we're not so good at, right? So it says becoming self-aware of what those things are, our strengths and our weaknesses, will help us become more productive, which in turn will help you with your goals, right? So it gives us some for instances. The first one, it says you may be very analytical, which means that you're very good at thinking things through and coming up with the solution, but it warns, now that's your strength, but the weakness may be you're turning into a perfectionist, right? That we don't want to do, right? So it may be good to have that strength to, be analytical and figure things out, but we don't want to become a perfectionist. Then that would be a weakness, right? So it gives us another, for instance. Suppose you're a very decisive person. You're great at making decisions, but sometimes you may be making them too fast. You may not be thinking things through enough before you take action. Then that could become your weakness, right? So that's a strength, making decisions, but then maybe making them too fast could be a weakness. So think about yourself. How are you? What is your strength? What is your weakness? As far as those things, right? And it says, when you get to know yourself better, then you can maximize the talents that you have, maximize your strengths, but minimize those weaknesses, right? So becoming aware of yourself and getting to know yourself is a good thing, because then you become much more productive. Now, did you know that there are 3 selves that we all have? One is the self that we show to the world. The other self is the way we see ourselves. And then the third self is who we really are. Because sometimes we want to be something, but we really aren't that, right? And sometimes we show the world something or someone that really isn't who we are, right? Now, to work with and enhance any strengths or weaknesses that you have, it gives the suggestions of making a list. Put on one side all your strengths, on the other side your weaknesses. And keep an open mind and be honest with yourself, because you're writing it down for yourself, for your goals, so that you can become more productive for the following year, right? And it talks about when you're watching an interview, when you see the interviewer ask the interviewee all these questions, right? And one of the questions they usually ask is, what is your weakness? And the interviewee usually says, I always seem to take on too much. It's like I want to do everything. Now, can you identify the weakness in that statement? Well, in effect, it says that person is saying that they are really disorganized and that they are unable to focus on one thing. She can't manage her time because she's saying, oh, she's taken on too much and she wants to do everything. So she's not managing her time, and in turn, maybe not her life very well, right? So that was something to really identify as a weakness. Even though people say it and it sounds like, it's a good thing, but really it's not. When you really, really look at it in a thorough way, right? He or she is really saying that they're disorganized and not focused. And we don't want to be like that, right? So write down on your list your weaknesses and your strengths, okay? And it says after creating your list, then think about your general mindset. How do you view the world? How do you view yourself in the world? It says, are you a pessimist or are you an optimist? Because those attitudes, eventually, it says, they shape your goals and determine how much you get done. Being an optimist, you love learning and you're always open, right? And it's a critical element to self-managing. To manage yourself, you have to be open, right? And you have to be willing to try new things. So you're an optimist because you know you can get things done, right? And it increases your productivity. It says, think of that optimism as your secret weapon because it's powerful in managing your time. It can be, right? And it's really true that if you think you can do something, you will. And it always reminds me of the story I used to relate to my children, of the little red engine that could. You might know that story, right? But it's the little caboose, right? The little red engine, the big engine was up front, and the little caboose wanted to catch on to the big engine. And it was way up ahead, right? But it kept saying, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And it caught up with it because it thought it could, and it did, right? So we have to be the same way. We have to think that we can. Yes, we can do this, and we will, right? We're optimistic. And being optimistic is also helping people around you to be optimistic, right? Especially if you have a team that you're working with, or even just the people in general that you're working with, right? That are in your office with you. If you're optimistic, they get to be that way. We hope, in a way, right? Because you're setting a good example. Okay. And being optimistic, it shows that you, instead of saying, oh, this is how we always do things, no, it shows that you're open to say, hey, maybe we can do things better, right? That's being optimistic, having a great attitude, right? It's a strength of people, yes. It can be your strength. Don't let it become a weakness and, oh, no, I always do it this way. No, okay? So it says, to help you gain greater self-awareness, it says to gain greater self-awareness then, right? Becoming more aware of ourselves. And if you want to really know how people think about you, or whether you are aware of yourself, get some feedback from somebody else. Ask them, somebody that you trust, a good friend, even a family member, as long as they're going to give you, an honest evaluation. Ask them, how do they see you? How are you really? Okay, and then be open. Even if it is criticizing, it's okay. It can be constructive criticism, right? So be open-minded for the feedback. And then it says, because we have all of these demands on our time, yes, we do, becoming self-aware, it can be a big tool for us, an essential tool to help us manage our time better and become more productive. Okay? So I'm going to let you go now because you need to be productive in getting ready for the holiday. Okay? You may still have some shopping to do tomorrow. And I hope you have a great holiday, that you have an awesome weekend, okay? And that you work on your goals, okay? And take this into consideration. Make the list of your strengths and your weaknesses and be honest to yourself, okay? All right. Take care. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.